we've come to a point where both Call of Duty and Battlefield are down atrocious, down bad to a level of which we have never seen before. With the release of Vanguard and Battlefield 2042. I mean, these games just completely dropped the ball in, different aspects, namely 2042 being worse in terms of performance. But that's not excusing Vanguard either. I mean, I know several people who haven't been able to play Vanguard multiplayer properly because of all the packet bursts. And packet burst has always been a thing, but holy shit, in this new COD, it's really bad. And so as somebody who's followed both series, to see them in this state that they're in is sad, quite frankly. It's very sad. And Battlefield, it's man, dude, there's really no recovering it, I guess, because of the foundation of how that game was built. The maps, there's no cover, and the specialists and the skins they made for the specialists. And while they were doing EA insider playtesting, they were hey, this shit's not gonna work. We need to have the classes separated out by faction, and then the traditional assault, medic, support, and recon roles in place. And it ended up being very slapped together, and without any sort of weapon locking, because I was just playing Battlefield 3 on Venice Unleashed client, and you'll probably see some Venice Unleashed gameplay on the channel soon. I think I'm starting off with just a Black Ops 3 gameplay on hardcore, and yeah, it's gonna be against bots, because look, people, if you're trying to play hardcore Black Ops 3 on PC, you're not gonna find any lobbies. It's as dead as a doornail, and it's unfortunate because hardcore in Black Ops 3 is absolutely insane. The amount of plays you can get with the movement, and I don't know. It fulfills my autistic desire out of COD in particular. And that's when I played Black Ops 3 in its prime back on PS4, back when I was a console scrub. That was basically all I played. I didn't play core very often at all. But anyway, the point is that I was playing Battlefield 3, and the cohesiveness of how the game flows, and the destruction, and even the gunplay itself, and the player movements and the animations, it all was designed with the vision in mind. And I think that's where the problem lies with 2042, is that the vision is just so not focused. It's compromised by all these underlying things. And quite frankly, I think it's a similar issue with Vanguard as well. I mean, what is Vanguard even supposed to be? Because it's not really a World War II game, because it's my team versus enemy team, and you have a million different weird ass attachments on World War II guns, and it's just so, it's almost the in-between of a serious World War II game and a wacky Wolfenstein adventure sci-fi vaguely. It's it's in a shitty in between, and it's just very clearly this game was slapped together from leftover COD World War II assets to shit out something that can coincide with Warzone. And Warzone has its own set of problems. The problems are so ingrained and deep into the game that they're having to reboot with Warzone 2, which Tom Henderson has talked about, and hopefully that comes together, because the game right now, I mean, hackers are just absolutely shitting on Ricochet. Anti-cheat, yeah, what a joke. And it, like, are people due for refunds? Because, like, they advertised Vanguard is like, oh, it's Ricochet anti-cheat off the rip, and well, they advertised Vanguard, and it's Warzone, like Caldera map, that too. Like, that was like front and center out with the advertising. That this is just, oh man, there's gonna be no cheaters. It's gonna be insane, and it's just totally flopped. And I'm pretty sure that Vanguard didn't even get Ricochet until like very recently too. So they were like, oh, we're rolling it out in Asia first. Like, that's a very convenient excuse for why there's just hackers running everywhere. And even in now, where it actually is implemented, we've seen cases here and there of hackers, like the obvious ones, getting their damage nerfed, and we're having a good laugh here and there, made for good clips. But I follow a guy on YouTube who regularly is posting him hacking at like 400 FOV, like the snappiest aimbot possible. He's got like he's like level 1. He goes in there, he just absolutely shits on everybody, and then and then wins, obviously. And then like the next video, it's the same thing, and like, it's whatever he's got, it must be the premium engine owning, because like he's not getting, Ricochet's not doing a goddamn thing, and it's not just him, it's a shit ton of other people. And yeah, it's just that whole game is really down bad. It's much like the cheating, the rampant cheating of like Korean free-to-play games, like just like not well maintained. Like it you would think that the game was in maintenance mode or abandoned just by looking at the state of how the game plays and the players playing it and the amount of hackers. Like, you would think like, oh, this game has been out for a couple years and we're like a year out from Nope, it's getting constantly updated, and it's just like the cheating situation is that bad. So, and like that's what's bringing Vanguard and Warzone, the new COD experience, down. And meanwhile, on Battlefield, it's like you can't get cheaters to even go in there, because like the nobody wants to play it. So like not even the cheat providers were like, yeah, no, we still got cheats for Battlefield 5 and 4, but we're stopping production on 2042 cheats because nobody gives a fuck. And I don't know whether that's sad or whether that's like a blessing in disguise, but it's just like, where do you go from there when it's like not even the cheaters want to play your game, and like the player numbers are as not public as they used to be, from insider sources. There are absolutely bleeding players, and it's no surprise like when you queue into a match and like it's half bots or like majority bots. And don't get me wrong, I love multiplayer games that allow you to play with or against bots. Like those, it keeps it alive. But it's just like, this game came out, this game just came out, bro. Like this, we should not be this reliant. The game should be in the hazard zone. Oh god, don't get me, that mode is like actually dead. Like it's dead. And you can't can't get in a match because the bots for that game mode are integrated into like the interactable NPCs that you see, so they can't fill player slots. So anyone queuing into hazard zone is just like waiting forever, essentially, because it's dead. And like, it's a shame, because that had put like a lot of things that 2042 had going for it had potential. I can't say the same about Vanguard. I really can't. Like, from the conceptual stage, Vanguard was doomed to be just like a mediocre mod of Modern Warfare 2019 with like World War II maps and guns. Like it never had. As soon as I heard about it, I was just like, oh, so they're taking the easiest route possible. Okay, great. And it's just like, that's the reason why things are in such decline is because of the demand from Activision, and like it's like no wonder they're being bought out by Microsoft, because this constant churn of new games is just absolutely burning out developers. And I don't blame them for not hopping on to fix everything ASAP, because like what are you gonna get from it? It's like you got to develop a new COD in like a month or whatever. It's just total burnout stage for the developers, and I imagine it's much of the same for Battlefield, because they're talking about new Battlefield projects already with DICE, and it's just like, well, dude, the time to abandon 2042 is not now, because you just released it, and they abandoned Battlefield 5 early, as evidenced by, I think, one of the developers, when it was revealed for Portal mode that you had World War II maps coming. One of the developers was like, oh, finally this thing I'm working gets to be seen. So it's just like that was clearly cut from Battlefield 5 DLC and just slapped haphazardly into Portal. And they abandoned that game. They abandoned Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new version, the EA Battlefront 2. And look, I hate that game. I think the gameplay sucks, but it was a very graphically appealing and content-rich game, and it could have been even more content-rich. It could have been even more supported, especially with like how much stuff is going on with Star Wars currently. I don't think it's very good, but the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and all that stuff. There's like a lot of potential content there, but I got abandoned to make this 2042 game better, and that just clearly didn't pan out. And they're already talking about Marcus Leto doing like story content for Battlefield, and it's just like, dude, we need to fix this broken foundation. And I don't know, it's just crazy how in a pre-production phase, these games don't get properly planned out and rushed and end up with very broken products. And it's just like, this is supposed to be AAA gaming, my guys, AAA gaming, and it's as down bad as it ever been. And the solution is to listen to the community, first of all, which is like a big stopgap for AAA developers and publishers, apparently, and to actually take your time with the core foundational development, because rushing it is clearly not working. So I don't know what solution there is at this point for both games. I think either Battlefield takes more of a mobile focused direction, because I heard like Battlefield Mobile is coming along pretty good in terms of development, because that's like going to have the best of Battlefield 3 and 4. It's just like, damn, bro, that's just like how COD Mobile is what everybody else wants from COD. And I wouldn't be surprised if it went in that direction, stayed there, and I wouldn't be surprised if COD eventually stopped its annual releases. And I think that's what Microsoft intends to do, because it's clearly leading to developer burnout and just like total lack of creativity. So that's, if I had to predict, I'd say that's where it's going. I hope Treyarch can come back in 2023 and deliver a banger, because they actually have time for once. Cold War was rushed horribly. It was scrapped together from Ravensoft and Sledgehammer's like Vietnam project. It was kind of just like slapped together from that. I'm surprised that game even came out on time. But yeah, something needs to change, and soon, hopefully.